Hey, nice to meet you. Quick question, but what would you want if you were offered three wishes? Would you wish for a necessity, or something you utterly desire? Isn't it enough to make you think twice? Oh, pardon me, I haven't even introduced myself yet. The name's Nathaniel, here with my trusty little microphone. I wanted this thing for ages, so much so that I dreamt of it every night. But what if your wishes also had consequences? We'll be discussing William Wymark Jacobs' novel The Monkey's Paw, its themes, symbolisms, and many quotes that I found very appealing. But keep in mind that these are just my thoughts and opinions later on, so bear with me while I describe this tale of suspense, danger, and fate. So here's how it goes. The story begins in Villa, the White's cozy and warm home of an elderly English couple, Mr. and Mrs. White, and their grown son, Herbert. On a dark and stormy night, the father and son are playing chess, while Mrs. White knits by the fire. By their conversation, it's apparent that someone will be visiting. Soon, Sergeant Major Morris arrives, and the family welcomes him warmly. He tells fascinating stories of his time in India while it was under the British rule. Mr. White recalls the strange tale of a monkey's paw that Morris recently informed him about. Morris reluctantly gives them a paw, explaining that it was cast in a spell by an elderly fakir who wished to demonstrate that fate dominated people's lives, and that those who interfered with it suffered the consequences. As a result, it has the ability to grant three wishes, but it does so at the expense of the wisher. Mr. White ended up buying the monkey's paw from Morris, and quickly tried his strange powers. Herbert then suggests wishing for £200, and so Mr. White wishes upon the paw. Stunned when he felt the talisman move in his hand, he cried and nothing else happened. While gazing at the dying fire, Herbert imagines and sees a strange simian face which frightens him. He goes to bed in this very uneasy state. The next morning, Mrs. White waits for the £200 to arrive as Herbert goes to work as normal. Later on, a well-dressed gentleman unexpectedly pays the Whites a visit in the afternoon. Herbert has been killed in a mechanical accident, the man informs the Whites. The man says that they will receive £200 as compensation for their loss, exactly the same amount of money that Mr. White wished for. Mr. White passed out and Mrs. White screamed aloud. Overcome with grief over his loss, Mr. and Mrs. White bury Herbert in the cemetery 2 miles from their home. Mr. White wakes up a few days later to find his wife at the window, lamenting the loss of their son. Mrs. White then suggests using the other two remaining wishes to bring their son back from the dead. Presently he wakes again and decides to light a candle. Mr. White hears a banging on the door as he tries to navigate the stairs blindly. He hurries back to bed terrified, as her wife is awakened by the disturbance and claims it was only a rat making noises. However, the knocking grows even louder. Mrs. White is overjoyed, assuming Herbert has been brought back to life, and rushes downstairs to open the front door. Mr. White, on the other hand, is left with only one option: make a final wish on the monkey's paw. He wished one final time and bangs on the door, stops. Phew, that was a pretty exhausting summary to read. Now that that's out of the way, let's start with my review on the short story. One of the most important themes in the story is the dangers and risks of wishing. The White's demise is due to wishing for more than what they actually needed. Despite the fact that Mr. White is satisfied with his own life, he uses the talisman to wish for money he doesn't actually need. Making a seemingly innocent wish, as Jacobs recommends, only amplifies and magnifies desire as each consecutive wish becomes more outrageous. The monkey's paw is also a symbol for avarice and desire, representing everything that its owner might ever desire and the limitless ability to make it happen. The paw's power makes it appealing to even the most selfless people who have all they need. To show that fate ruled over people's lives, and that those who interfered with it did so to their sorrow. This proposes another meaning of the line. If fate, as the fakir claims, governs people's lives, Mr. White may be fated to use the paw, lose his son, and risk his own life. There are numerous aspects of this novel that I could praise. It's suspenseful in the sense that you're not sure what's going to happen next. It covers a unique concept of fate dominating over people's lives in a unique way. While reading the novel, though, I was struck by the fact that there is always a three-pointed pattern. The monkey's paw granting the White family 3 wishes. Mrs. White instructs her husband to wish Herbert alive 3 times before retrieving the paw, and before his mother hears him, Herbert's supposed reanimated corpse knocks 3 times, all of which I really found very interesting. Aside from that, I'd have to give this 5 stars out of 5. I hope you enjoyed the story as much as I do, because it really is a great example on how to write suspenseful stories. Thank you for coming with me, and goodbye.